Go.
Right on. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our March 2021 meetup. We have an awesome presentation here for you this fine evening. Thank you so much for spending it with us. If you're here in Victoria, the clouds have parted. The sun is out. It is still mighty cold, but thank you for spending time with us instead of out in the sunshine. We'll rip through this presentation and hopefully stay on time. We'll cover a little bit about who we are for any of the newbies here in the room. If you are a newbie in the room, please either raise your hand, throw a comment in there so that one of us can welcome you officially. We're going to cover our most recent triplex conversion as a renovation, how the deal was structured in the joint venture partnership structure, as well as the numbers on what we bought it for, what we put into it, even though that changed, and what we got out of it. It ended up turning into, spoiler alert, a really good opportunity. And then we're going to talk a little bit about partnerships, why they work, what's appropriate structure, and bring on a couple of I'll say panelists to answer some Q&A on it. And then we'll also be here for some just crowd Q&A. Going through this evening, we really want to welcome everybody to and invite everybody to join on video. We, as Randy and Steve and the REINVESTORS, we really thrive off of people's energy. We're still used to doing live events, but we have to settle for Zoom these days. We still thrive off of your guys' facial expressions, your hands going up, your thumbs down, comments in the chat. And when we do see everybody on video, it really just helps us stay motivated on doing next month and engaging on everything that it is that you want. So please do turn your video on if you can. Who are we? We are the REINVESTORS. This is us, I guess, 5.5 years ago, after our first property. We're real estate investors. We love educating as well. And we are developers too. My uncle showed me a development opportunity when I was 15, where he took one lot, turned it into 3 multi-million-dollar properties. And since then, I've been hooked. And we cover everything in between. So just a little bit of an overview. We found it back in 2016 when we really saw an opportunity to fill a void. And the void was a lot of real estate communities back in the day, 5-6 years ago, were kind of like an old boys crew. And it was really tough to get information out of them. And so we said, screw that, let's go find all the information out there, learn it ourselves, and then educate everybody else who wants that information that everybody else is hiding. So we really took that and put it to scale with this meetup. We started off with 12 people in the back of a white spot. If you know what that is, it's a small little restaurant. And we've turned it into, we got 90 people here tonight. We had 100 people in live events. We've had 150 people here before. On the investment side of things, we've done over $12 million in real estate transactions, ranges from Airbnb, bachelors to single family, multifamily, everything in between. We've raised over $8, maybe even $9 million in investor capital now. 100% of our properties in the REINVESTORS have been bought with OPM, other people's money. And then on the education side of things, we've been running this meetup. May will be 5 years, dude, which is crazy. And so 2 months away from being 5 years every single month. And we've hosted 2-day workshops. We've done large weekend events. We have a high caliber mastermind as well. Shout out to all you Synergy Mastermind folks that I see on the call right now. And we have an awesome real estate investing community on Facebook as well. For those of you who do know us, you know that this is one of my most passionate slides we have. And for those of you who don't, welcome. We are extremely passionate about being a for-purpose business. And so what is a for-purpose business? It's a mix between solely making profit and solely just giving back everything. We blend in the middle. And so everything that we do has a give back component, hence go big to give big. We're inspiring other people to go bigger with their dreams, to give bigger with their profits. And locally here in Victoria, Kidsport Victoria is our charity of choice. This is us sponsoring their golf tourney. This is us after our Christmas fundraiser back in December 2019, where we were able to raise over $12,000 to give to Kidsport, one of the happiest days of my life. And we really just encourage people to take things to the next level, reach a little bit higher so you have that opportunity to give a little bit bigger as well. Our mission within the real estate investing sector, within the REINVESTORS, is that we are on a mission to financially educate 1 million people and inspire them to invest in real estate so they can live a more fulfilled life. Shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors for helping us put together this meetup and just to continue to love on this community. We work with the best real estate professionals out there, from accountants with RealFile to Kyle, as you heard a little bit earlier, with the Prime Real Estate team. He might have an announcement coming soon. Green Mortgage team, Sitka Law, Century West Financial with Megan. You guys are phenomenal. You're very active in our Facebook community, and for all the love that you give to our community, we really appreciate it. And these people are absolutely the best in the industry. So if you do have some sort of question related to their industry, either reach out to us and we can make a personal intro, or just search them up online and you'll be able to connect directly with them to say, hey, we're with the REINVESTORS, and they'll definitely give you the extra special treatment. Our next meetup, we do this every third Tuesday of every single month. So our next one is in April. It's April the 20th, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, same place here on Zoom until things change. But it'll be another wonderful evening. And big announcement, we are looking for deals. If you didn't know, we're real estate investors, and we have a partnership called Parametric Properties, where we're looking for value add condos within the CRD. So that's all 13 municipalities across Greater Victoria. So if you know anybody who's looking to possibly sell, and they might have a 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, hasn't been touched in 20 years type of condo, we would love to have that conversation, make it easy on them, give them completely fair sale price. And we've got the keyword is what? Cash-ola. And if you're also looking to invest into this fund, if you've got RRSPs, TFSA, or cash, you can hit up parametricproperties.com and get more information on how that is structured and the returns that are there. But if you do know somebody, please either make an introduction, send us an address or something like that, and we can take a look at it live in person, or just a virtual walkthrough on FaceTime, or whatever the homeowner or seller would be comfortable with. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to welcome, not necessarily welcome, but I'm going to invite my other half here, Mr. Randy Mullen, to come and blow your minds with one of our more recent single-family conversions.
Cool. Let me do this. There's one thing I want to do first. Something Steve and I have found hugely beneficial. And last time we actually had some people messaging us saying they made 4 or 5 new friends, found some different partners. Is if you look at your name on this screen, there's 3 little dots in the top corner. You can click that, and there's something that says rename. What you can do is rename your name. So right now it says Randy Mullen, the REINVESTORS, and I can change it to say Randy Mullen, passive investor, Randy Mullen, looking for deals, Randy Mullen, Victoria, BC. So then people can know where you are, what deals you're looking for. I see a few people in here have already done that. And it just helps people get connected. The whole point of these meetups is to get connected, get to know each other. We can't do that right now because we're all forced to be online. But what we can do is start connecting with other people in our areas. And as I get into the second half of our presentation tonight, you guys are going to want to be able to change your names to start building connections, because you're going to see how beneficial they've been for a lot of people in this community. So with that being said, change your names. And if you see someone that's got something that's connected to your area or something you're interested in, reach out, start building those connections. What I am excited to share with you guys tonight. Steve, you can see that screen. Okay, beauty. Our George Street triplex. This was probably our biggest roller coaster of a property that we've had. And I'm going to walk you guys through it front to back now on pseudo high level, but just opening up the books. One thing Steve and I have taken great pride in is that we love sharing the process and the ups and the downs and some of the struggles we faced and some of the things. And tonight you'll see in here that this property was not supposed to work for us halfway through. And at the end, we ended up turning it into something I think might be pretty special for you guys to see. So just a quick rundown of the deal here. I'm actually going to do this. I forgot to pull that up, but I put it right here. Just one second, guys. I'm going to show you the actual pamphlet of the deal. And meetups. Sorry, guys. This is the one I couldn't put this in my presentation because it was the pamphlet was too big. So I'm just opening it up right here. the pamphlet. Share this screen now. Share screen of this. This is what we saw. So this is 3016 George Street. It's in the Cowichan Valley. Some things that caught our eyes on this was at the beginning, it says development potential, nice looking property. In here, I saw that it had a well-planned granny suite, presently used as an Airbnb. Absolutely love anything that looks like it's more profitable. The pool was intriguing, but didn't excite us too much. And so as you scrolled through, your typical old school 1950s, 60s farmhouse, and didn't really excite me. These are some of the things that excite me. And I'm sharing this so that you guys can see some of the key words and some of the things that really pull up for us. The big things here is that it had things in place for a future subdivision. So they did everything right on this property. They subdivided it, so it was a bigger property. They subdivided one little piece of it in the corner, but it still left a big enough property to be subdivided again. So nothing more than, hey, there was subdividable potential. That's amazing. It had a lot of the great updates. So it already had a new water line ready to go for it. Oh, of course, it's not going to show the rest of it. Maybe you just need to load. There we go. So it had subdivision potential. Things that were new on it. Had a new roof, which is great for us. New windows, which is always awesome. So you don't have to worry of rot in the windows or what's going on. Big one here. Electrical upgrade to all the wiring throughout the house done with permits. And we pulled the permits and it was done in 2018, 2019. Make note of that. The Airbnb suite. And it said it had some good other stuff. Old tank was removed in 2018 with all the proper paperwork. Vermiculite was removed in 2019. So those are, in this instance with the vermiculite, the window, everything, it's probably $30,000, $40,000 worth of renovation that we didn't have to touch. We love floor plans like this. Easy to see, easy to use. If you're a realtor, God, please provide floor plans. It makes our lives so much easier. We know what we're going to do with these deals before we even look at them. Looking here, very easy to see where things were. So when we looked at this deal, we saw that this was the Airbnb on the side here, the granny flat, as they called it, over here with the bathroom, a little sink, and a bedroom. This was the main house. Upstairs, we had 2 bedrooms, this weird bathroom, and we just saw tons of potential because these rooms were so big. Nobody needs a 14 by 18 foot bedroom. How can we cut that and chop that up and do some cool things? And then we knew this was an open basement, and our ceiling heights were 6'8". And when we measured them, they actually came back around 7 feet. So they misrepresented the ceiling heights. It sloped quite a bit. And so we were actually able to get 7-foot ceiling heights, which is legal. So we knew we could put a basement suite in, a bunch of information about the property, and just got us really excited about it. This was the proposed lot. So that's where they subdivided lot A. They left lot B, and it's the picture I need isn't loading, but they showed you where the subdivision was meant to be. So that was the ad. So that's the property that we're working with. Just wanted to give you guys a little showcase of what that might be. So then we'll do this again. One sec. Share this screen. So that's the deal. So the info package was big for us, and because of the potential subdivision. And guys, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. I can see the chat. I'm happy to talk them through as I'm going through this, or Steve can answer them as we go through. We saw the potential here to make a triplex. We saw the main house, we saw the Airbnb suite, and we saw that had an open basement. And we knew it wasn't going to be a legal triplex, but we knew we could put a legal suite down below and find a way to make this a 1-bedroom suite on the side with 3 bedrooms in the main area. We saw how big the lot was and how we could have yards for each property. Where this area is a very blue-collar town. People want yards, people have dogs, they want to have that space. So we saw a lot of potential there. And with the subdivision, we knew there was a lot of potential on the other end. And some of the big items were already taken care of. As I shared, a lot of the big expenses, $30,000 to $40,000 worth of expenses, were completely taken care of already. So we thought that was very great. And it had vacant possession. The house was completely empty, nothing in it, just ready to go for us to start working on it the next day. Very big, especially in today's market with tenants and having to evict them and renovate the properties. We don't like being those tenants or those landlords if we don't have to be. So buying vacant properties was amazing. So these were the numbers that we ran on the property. Very high level, guys. This is not meant to be a full lesson on how to run numbers. This is just meant to be showcasing you what happened throughout the property. So our purchase price was around $500,000. We created a budget of about $150,000 to clean the 1 bedroom, the 3 bedroom, and put a 2 bedroom suite below. We were guessing it would probably be around $650,000. So we'd get a mortgage for about 80% of the $650,000 gives you a mortgage amount of $520,000. Means that the money left in the deal is about $130,000. We're very excited. What that means is if you buy the property at $500,000 with 20% down, you're in the deal for $100,000. We're going to have a $650,000 property in the deal for $130,000. To preface, we bought this property cash and renovated it cash, and then we put a mortgage on at the very end. We found that to be the best way possible. So for all of our properties now, with mortgages being tighter and such. Also, shout out, we are maxed out at 100 people here, and we can no longer let anybody else in. So kind of cool that we're able to completely sell out to have 100 people in a room. That's awesome. We miss these days. So our monthly rent roll, we projected around $4,300, $1,800 for our 3 bedroom, $1,500 for our 2 bedroom, $1,000 for our 1 bedroom. And that put us about an $800 a month cash flow. Seemed like a very average property to us, but one we wanted to add to our portfolio for the long-term growth and potential it brought. Our plan was to completely renovate the upstairs to be a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. We wanted to lightly renovate the Airbnb suite to make it a full 1 bedroom. It was missing a stove. It didn't have a hood fan. It didn't have a full fridge, things like that. We wanted to add a legal 2 bedroom suite to the basement. Create separate yards for each suite. That's something that we're finding to be very beneficial when we're renting out. If we ever do see more vacancy, we're playing in a lot of areas that have below 1% vacancy. So right now it's not as big of a deal, but having a yard, fully fenced yard, is going to separate us a lot when it does. And we were going to update the garage for future cash flow after it was all done. Pretty simple plan. This is our renovation. So you can see the befores on the top and the afters on the bottom. The before on the top there, if you look in the top right, it was just a sink with some pots and pans and a tiny little mini-bar fridge. And we put a full stove, hood fan, cabinets, and everything in there. Didn't do much to the bedroom other than paint it, clean it up, and make it good. And the bathroom, you can't see it because the curtain's there. It was just this disgusting old tile that we took out. We do the same thing in all of our bathrooms and all of our kitchens and every unit we have, white tile, gray grouts, and keeping it very simple. So that's the 1 bedroom. This is the 2 bedroom. It was completely open down below. It was just an absolute disaster of a mess. And then the after, again, you can see very similar type styles and everything we do, white cabinets, stainless appliances, same flooring in all the units, same colors, same everything. This is the 3 bedroom. It's hard to show you guys all the different things on it. And what I can do, I think the links are still live. I can give you the Matterport walkthroughs, the 3D walkthroughs, so you can actually see the final product of our units. So you can see the quality there. Remind me, Steve or Megan, that I should send that out after this call if they're still live. So I'll check those. But you can't really see it here, but this big hole in the middle in the top right was a chimney that was in the living room, full brick. Took up so much space. And we had the crazy idea that we wanted to take it out all the way to the basement floor, which freed up, we're talking quite a bit there. It's probably 6 feet by 4 feet. So 24 square feet per floor going all the way up actually freed up a lot of square footage for the house. And then you can see we kept a little bit of the farmhouse feel with the cabinets, same stainless appliances, same backsplashes as always, and did it up pretty nicely. So we're very happy with how it turned out. It looked awesome. Just wanted to show you guys some inspiration from the before and afters. Everyone loves seeing them. The positives of our renovation. All the walls that we needed to remove and everything we needed to revamp wasn't load bearing. We didn't need to put any beams in. We didn't have to do anything structural. So we didn't need any structural engineers. It was very easy on that side. The bathroom upstairs that we added in, I wish I had a floor plan of our finished one. So we added in upstairs, we took the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom and made it into 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. We added a bathroom into that master bedroom and revamped a few things. And it was very easy to add in. The plumbing below lined up, was super easy for us. Basement was already at legal height. We didn't have to do much. The pool in the back, we were able to fill. For those of you that don't know, you probably don't want a pool as liability if you're a landlord, but to fill them, pools are massive. It takes a lot of fill to fill a pool. And so we took all the bricks from the chimney, all our scrap wood, all the extra scraps from the property and rocks. Steve, do you just want to mute whoever that is? Oh, there we go. And then we filled all the pool. We got free fill, so everything went great there. And we were able to keep a lot of the door jambs upstairs. In these older homes, you don't want to start pulling apart the door jambs and stuff like that in the doorways, because then things don't fit nicely. Nothing in the house is square, nothing's level. When you start trying to replace it with new, it's not as fun. So if you can keep old door jambs and the old trim, people like the style, and it is easier to work with. This is where it got a little bit challenging. The electrical that said it was supposed to be redone, even though it had in 2019 permits, was completely not to code. None. Open junction boxes in the ceilings, in the attic, completely hidden, buried junction boxes throughout the house, different types of wire coming into different types of wire that were ungrounded to grounded wires. A lot of it was frayed and chewed away by rodents. And we didn't know any of that until we opened up the walls and until we opened up everything and had our electrician go through. We were excited that we had a fully, probably $15,000 worth of electrical work done on the house that we expected maybe to put a few thousand in. Brand new pot lights everywhere was great. And we basically rewired the entire house top to bottom, which led us down a goose trail of moving panels around, making things better. It worked out better for us in the end of the term, but was probably $15,000 more than we anticipated on our electrical. It was not very fun. The drywall that needed to replace wasn't in the budget. We had to do a lot of replacement because of the old drywall that was there. Every time you hit something or smash something, we'd get a crack in a wall, and it just wasn't really fixable. You couldn't match the way it looks, so we'd have to cut it all out, put new drywall on. So we had about $8,000 worth of drywall that we weren't expecting to do in our budget, and a lot of mudding repairing. So going through and fixing a lot of the cracks in the houses. If any of you have renovated in the past 8 months, material is insane right now. Put 20 to 30% in your contingencies, because it was incredible to watch our prices skyrocket on us through the duration of this project. So just so you guys know, we started it in about July and went all the way through till February. And in that time, we were seeing 20 to 30% increases on all of our material. Our electrician would call us every day saying, wire's going up 6%. Our plumber would call and say, hey, our fixtures have gone up. Things like our decks, God, to put in decks and fences, pressure treated wood was so expensive. It went up like 200%. It was crazy. So it was very expensive for us to do it. So our contingency got eaten up so we make a contingency budget. Our contingency got eaten up with the electrical work that we didn't predict to have. Our contingency was gone in the first month of the budget. And so every increase in material was out of budget money for us. Our landscaping went way over budget because we were paying people by the hour. And at one point we looked out the window and we saw people just picking weeds from the garden that we're going to completely redo. And we just weren't managing it properly on the exterior of the property. And it's something you don't think about. You're like, hey, just clean the property up, get it simple. But without clear direction and a quote, we lost quite a bit of money there. Our budget for the landscape was gone very quickly. And a lot of the flooring needed repairs before the install to make things level. So it all looked good, but in order for us to lay the floor down properly, there was just too much unleveling in different areas and different directions that we had to level a lot of it. And there's a few $1,000s expense that we weren't used to. I share all this because I really wanted you guys to see that a lot of people talk about their amazing flips and how awesome they are. Ours wasn't. It was stressful. Ask Steve. I lost years off my life. There was a lot of tears actually to be had because every day my contractor would call me and he would say, hey man, I don't know how to tell you this. We've got to spend an extra $1,000 here. We've got to spend an extra $500 here. And the way we do our deals is we have a joint venture partner on this. So we have a money partner and then we're the working partner. And having to make these phone calls to our money partner, calling them saying, hey, we had a $150,000 budget. We need an extra $10,000. We need an extra $15,000. We need an extra $10,000. Those phone calls are some of the hardest phone calls we've ever had to make. We've never been over budget on a project before. And it was challenging. It was very scary. It was very hard. And so, like I said, I just wanted to share with you guys that this deal was going to be our worst project to date, and put us in very uncomfortable situations to have very uncomfortable conversations. It wasn't pretty. Until we started getting ready for our appraisal. So we did the renovations. We're about $200,000 into a renovation that we thought was $150,000 with contingency. We thought we were safe at 130. We put it to 150 for contingency. We're over $200,000, about $200,000 at this point. So we're thinking we bought it for $5, 200,000 in renos, 700,000. It's worth 650. Now, instead of our JV partner being in it for 130,000, they're probably going to be in it for 180,000. And it's just not going to be a very pretty conversation. Luckily, our partner was we know him very well. We've done deals with him in the past, and he understood everything we were going through. Going to the appraisal, we were sweating. Steve, again, can attest the amount of stress that I endured. I say I endured because I was project managing it, of this project was unbearable. Couldn't handle it. We were 30% over budget, and we had to share that with our joint venture partner. So not only were we just 50,000, that's 30% more. That's an astronomical number when you're looking in financing. If you're 5 to 10%, you're doing fairly good. As soon as you get above 15% over budget, you did something completely wrong. To be 30% over was just a complete bad storm. I knew we had added a lot more value to the property along the way because we did things a lot nicer. We had to move some doors. We had to do some things. We added another bathroom where we didn't need to, or that we saw value but didn't have to. So we did a lot of things that we knew we were going to get a higher appraisal. And we threw a Hail Mary at a new idea of creating a document. And guys, this is one of the cool things that Steve and I do. There's always opportunity inside of struggle. We needed to find a way to get this appraisal to come back higher. And it wasn't just like having somebody walk through the house and say it is. We needed this number to come above $700,000 so that we could make sure that our joint venture partner got at least 20 or 80% coverage on the renovation. So Steve and I came up with these different ideas and talking to a lot of people in the industry, being very active, asking people what they're doing. And we came up with this idea to create an appraisal sheet for our property. This is what we created. And let me just open this up here. This is what Steve and I with one of our employees created, was this appraisal sheet. No idea how it was going to work, but we spent quite a few hours putting this together. We put probably 15 hours into creating this, and basically just went through, hey, our objective is to buy this house, renovate it to code, create a boutique triplex in a town that desperately needs it. A little bit about us, who we were, our general contractor and Steve and I. Some stuff about our past projects that we had done so we could show off the work and quality that we do. A little bit about the property. So this is big because we wanted to make sure that he knew, or whoever, we wanted to make sure our appraiser knew exactly what we had, because we knew this was a bit of a gem. It had a bigger lot. It had a legal suite. It had quite a bit of square footage, 6 beds, 4 baths, 3 kitchens. Just shared a lot about what we did. Everything. We replumbed the whole house, new electrical, new windows, new this, new vinyl bank flooring throughout the house, subdividable lot. We found our own comparables and said, hey, somewhere between $745,000 for a brand new house and $700,000 for an older house is where we lie in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage, places like that. So we really set this one up on a T-ball stand for him to hit it out of here. We had the before and after so we could see the renovations that were done. We broke out our full renovation costs. So all the way down to the 196, I think we're at 210 or something like that is where we finalized, but this is right where we're at. So as of February 1st, we have all of our permits right here, easy to go. So if he wants to verify everything, all of our permits were completely there, and just broke it down. It didn't have to be too much. We didn't get into too much detail, but you can see here, guys, that, you know, this is kind of just what we went through, where our expenses were and what we did. Some future stuff that we were doing to the property, the future subdivision of what we saw as the potential, right? This is, hey, we could actually subdivide this off. We put our rental numbers in here. So we said, hey, here's what we're projecting our leases for after the renovation. We're projecting around 4,700. Here's our operating expenses, blah, blah, blah. Here's our cash flow. Look at that number, pretty sexy. And little teaser here, we put in a $725,000 appraisal with a 2.5% mortgage rate. Just trying to leak to him every info. Like in our heads, we thought if he thinks that we want 725, he's going to be a jerk and give us $700,000, and we're going to love him to death because of it, because he just saved our bacon on getting there. And I put our resources. I'll see. This is tell me if they're up right now. Oh, cool. So I'll send this out. It looks like they're still live. So you guys can see the renovation that we did. I just want to show you guys quickly the bathroom upstairs so you can see. It might not work. It doesn't, the computer doesn't really like when you're on screen share. So can't, so I'm just not going to do that. I'll send it out to you guys. You can go through a little bit of our website, a little bit of us. Thank you. We appreciate you looking through our properties, blah, blah, blah. Not a bad little sheet. I was pretty excited about it when we had it. I knew it was giving us the best opportunity that we had, and we put it together. There's our appraisal, guys. It came back $800,000. Hallelujah. That is the best appraisal. We were happy at $700,000, let alone $100,000 more than we were into the property. We set this one up so well. We met the agent on site. We had I set this pamphlet to my bank contact. So my bank contact was going through, that was actually going to give us the mortgage. I said, here's what I'm sending the appraiser. I sent it to the appraisal company. I had a package done up nicely in a binder. So when he showed up, he looked at it, went, oh, this is awesome. Thank you guys. This makes my job so easy. We walked him through the entire property, showed him what we had. And the one line that I think got us there was that I said to him, hey man, just so you know, this is what we do. We buy houses like this, we renovate them, we put a mortgage on it, and from there, we take that money back and we put it back into the community on another project. So, and he said, what are you guys hoping for an appraisal? And I said, 725, 750 would give us our money back and make us good. But if you really want to make some friends, throw a number like 800,000 on there and we'll just go buy the next property. That's all I said. Next thing I know, we got an appraisal for $800,000. Steve and I have never celebrated so hard in our life, literally jumping around like little kids, phoning our joint venture partner, being like, you'll never believe it, man. We're going to be in this deal for less than we actually even anticipated in the first place. So to recap our original numbers, buying it for 500, putting 150 into it, put us around that 650. We were happy with that. Notice our rents were somewhere around 4,300. The new numbers, we bought it for 500. Renovation budget was $200,000. So we're about $50,000 over. Our new ARV is $800,000. So we got a $640,000 mortgage. You're in it for 7. You have 640 there. That means our money left in the deal is $60,000. That's it. $60,000. I don't think you can do 5% down and get that. Like that's absolutely insane. So you can imagine that our joint venture partner went from wanting to strangle us and never partner with us again to saying, hey, what do I do with all this excess money that I have now? How do we do this again? Pretty crazy numbers to be able to pull us off. Our monthly rent roll went to $5,200. We ended up getting $2,300 for the 3-bedroom upstairs, included the garage. We ended up getting $1,900 for our 2-bedroom suite. We got very lucky that it was a couple plus one. So there's actually 3 people living in a 2-bedroom suite and they offered to pay more. So it worked out good. And we got $1,000 for that. So our projected cash flow now is around $1,400 a month. So as Steve just put in the comments there, pretty insane cash on cash ROI. So for being $60,000 into making $1,400 a month, absolutely phenomenal property for us to have in our portfolio. Went from being our biggest nightmare to being our best performing property. So, yeah, that's basically the full brunt of the deal. Just want to walk you guys through the partnership a little bit. There was 4 parties involved in this joint venture partnership, 2 working partners and 2 money partners. Steve and I brought on another working partner to help us with the GC and the property management. So Steve and I found the deal. We brought the money to the deal with our money partners. We oversaw the entire project. We brought somebody else in to help us out and gave them equity in the deal for running the actual on-site management and doing the on-site construction. Our money partner wanted to bring one of his friends to start diversifying his portfolio. He was pretty cash heavy into some of our deals. He's done a few of them with us, and he wants to start getting some more of his friends involved so that he's not as cash heavy. So instead of being $700,000 into this deal, maybe he's only $350,000 into this deal, hedging against some of his risk with some of his friends because he trusts us a lot in these scenarios. So that's how we did a 4-way joint venture partnership. A lot of people think that you can only do it one-on-one. We did it simple, 4 ways, and was working very good. I see some questions here quickly. I'll get to those in a sec. Everyone is a part of the JV agreement, and they have their clear roles and responsibility. Everyone knew what they were supposed to do. Everyone had their designated roles, and everything worked out fairly good with it. That's how we do all of our JVs. Everything is definitely done on paperwork and properly so that we know exactly where they're at. And we have an open communication through email, text, and video message. Our joint venture partners didn't ever come to the property. They've been there 0 times. They probably don't even know where it is. If they were to drive by it, they wouldn't even know. So we do full video messaging, video walkthroughs, FaceTiming, keeping our partners up to date using video was one of the best transitions we ever made. Our partner felt very connected to the job. A lot of trust was instilled in us as we're walking him through and having to explain, hey, our electrical bill is going to be $10,000 more than we anticipated, $15,000 more than we anticipated. Here's why. Here's the pictures, here's the videos, here's the walkthrough, so he could actually understand it instead of just saying, sorry, here's the bill. And we found the money partner and our working partner from our meetups. So these weren't people that that we had known for a long time. These are people that we literally met within the past 3 years at our monthly meetup. So just people that had found our meetup group, came out to check us out, reached out to Steve and I, built some relationships over the long term, and we were able to become partners. So very cool story, very happy with it, and very excited to be able to share that with you guys of what we went through and the struggles. And I'm just gonna go through the chat here to see if there's anything. I saw one that was, who do we use for an appraiser? I can't remember. The bank ordered it, so we didn't order it. This is a local company out of Victoria. Use rough lumber. How many gray hairs did you gain? A lot. Definitely a lot of gray hairs in this. Thanks for being honest. The story is real life. Yeah, this was the most real life that it got. Best lesson learned after all was said and done. Best lessons, a few of them. One, you can never have enough communication, even if you're going to be over budget. Telling people the minute that it happens instead of that week that it happens, or trying to compensate for it. We tried to cut expenses in other areas so that we didn't go over before we actually got too deep into the conversation with our joint venture partner. Probably one of the biggest regrets I have personally, was not including him in that conversation more from the beginning and saying, hey, it looks like we're going to be over budget. Just kept saying, hey, we're being able to adjust and change. And so mentally, we just weren't in the right space to learn that. So that's something we learned very closely there. Having a lot harder contracts in line where we knew exactly what our budgets were, not going over it, and being more in line with our general contractor on what exactly happened there. So those are a few of the big takeaways that I have. Who's on title? So in our scenario with joint venture partnerships, our joint venture is on title, and we are have a joint venture agreement behind it. So our money partners are on title. We are not on title. They qualify for the mortgage and come up with the down payments. Somebody asked, what are we working on now? So that's Steve and I do a lot of development, and we do a lot of multifamily type buildings, as well as we're working on parametric properties, which you guys saw was that fund we're creating, as well as more joint venture opportunities. We have a lot of irons in the fire, and just the best ROI, best opportunities. We kind of ebb and flow with the market. Right now is not the best time to be a joint venture going out trying to find a house to add a suite into. As Kyle alluded to earlier, it's better to be on the development side. So I I do want to get to our guests tonight because I do have some interviews that I want to bring up for you guys and talk a little bit about partnerships and why they're so important and why they're there. I do want to let everyone know, if you are interested in getting an appraisal sheet like that made up, something that Steve and I are looking at doing more of is helping more investors create these type of things to get these kind of appraisals. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me. More than happy to help you guys out, create them and do them. You can send an email to info@thereinvestors.ca and we'll be able to help you out, get you some information and do that from there. I'm sure. So if you do, and just put in the subject, appraisal sheet. Cool. I would love to bring up 2 guests tonight, and maybe 3 if I have time. Why partnerships work and how to create them. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I have 2 guests tonight. They both are awesome people. And they are from our Synergy Mastermind group. So these are people that are actively doing deals and making things happen. And I'm going to just quickly bring them up, ask them some questions, share their stories. And the whole purpose of this is just meant to inspire you guys. It's meant to show you how partnerships can be created quickly, how it can help you scale faster, and how you can do a bunch of different projects with them. It doesn't just have to be a joint venture property. And the first one I'm going to bring up is Ilona. Ilona, if you're available, can you unmute yourself?
Hey. Hi, Ryan.
Welcome to the Reinvestors meetup. Guys, if you haven't met Ilona yet, she runs a meetup with Darren Voros. It's called Level Up Meetup. Theirs is similar to ours, great connection to people. They do a little bit of deal sharing inside, a little bit of experts. It's phenomenal. It's a great meetup to be a part of. And obviously she's a part of our Synergy Mastermind, so we spend a lot of time with her. And so Ilona, can you just share with everyone a little bit about who you are, what kind of real estate you're into, and where you're doing it?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. First of all, this is awesome. Congratulations on this meetup, and it seems to be super, super successful. So good on you guys, the REINVESTORS, love it. Yeah, my name's Ilona, and I live in Brampton. I'm in development actually in Toronto, and our main strategy is converting single family homes into 8-unit apartment buildings. So we've been at it together with Darren. He's my business partner, Darren Voros. We've been doing it for about a year now, and yeah, that's
cool.
About it.
Now I'm going to dig a deeper here for you. So Ilona did some private lending outside of real estate. So she had some experience with lending and then got into real estate investing about a year ago. So just a year ago. And since then got introduced to some people and have created a partnership now that is absolutely taking off. And you guys are doing, I think, like 3 or 4 different buildings now where you're doing massive $1 million projects and you're raising millions of dollars. And I'm sure the number one question that you get is like, how did you get the confidence starting out in real estate, not really knowing much about the real estate world, and being able now to go find partners like Darren Voros, who's a pretty well-known name in the industry. He's got a very good YouTube channel, and being able to just go and partner with somebody like that. How did that come about, and how did you get the confidence to do that?
Confidence, sorry. Confidence is a funny thing because on the exterior, it looks like we're all confident, and then really inside, we're all dying a little. Even when we do our Level Up meetup, I'm like, okay. But to answer your question, I think it started from, mindset. I think that's the number one thing for me is mindset. I've been studying my mind and how all of that works for the past 3 years. So I was pretty well prepared for, new ventures and new opportunities. And I think that when you open yourself up for opportunities, they literally just come at you. And I know you and Steve, really believe in that stuff too. And, we talk about manifestation in the Synergy Mastermind, and I'm a big, big believer in your thoughts are become your reality in essence. So that's kind of where it started. But to get more specific, right before, so I joined Keyspire actually in last year in March, and 3 weeks later I got laid off. So COVID hit. I had a corporate sales job. I was doing passive investing. I invested in pre-construction. I invested in private lending. And I knew that I wanted to get into investing on the working side and more on the active side. I just didn't know how to do it. So I joined Keyspire, and really what happened was right after I got laid off, I'm like, okay, I can take this as, a pity party. And I did cry. I'm not going to lie. I think I cried for about an hour, and then I'm like, okay, that's done. Like, what are we going to do now? So I can't just stay in my bed and cry. I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom. It all depends on me to get it done. So all I did was I just started networking. I just started networking with as many people as I could from Keyspire. It's an amazing, group to network with. Same with this group that you have here. You have 100 people here. I mean, it's really on the people in here to be able to network with each other. And I started researching what I wanted to do. So coming from the passive side to the active side is obviously a big change. So I researched, like, what do I really want to do, number one, and where are my skills going to lend themselves to the best? So I networked with as many people as I could. I picked their brains about their strategies. I thought maybe Airbnb, maybe this, maybe that. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to, that's a lot of work, or that's not something I'm passionate about. And I ended up with development. I'm really passionate about development. It kind of goes hand in hand with the pre-construction stuff that I was doing. And so what I did was understand the process first and know where my skills would fit into the process. So I'm a big believer in partnerships. I'm a big believer in collaborations, masterminding, teamwork, and that stuff. And a lot of the people that join these networks join with their husbands and their wives or their sisters or their cousins. And I'm like, well, I'm all alone here and I don't want to work alone. I knew I wanted a partnership. So I literally wrote down the list of things that would happen in a development and, find the deal, find the money, permits, construction, whatever that thing looks like for you and for that deal or that strategy, I should say. And I would put my name beside the things that I could already do, like finding deals. I was finding deals for the past 15 years. I was looking for pre-construction. I knew how to, find deals that way. And then also what I would like to do and where my skills could be, right? So where I could, use my skills and learn more about that particular subject. And then obviously in that list, there were gaps, right? So I knew my partner had to possess the skills that I didn't possess in a partnership. So for example, construction was a big one. I don't know anything about construction. Like, can you picture me trying to go and tell the trades what to do? They'd be like, okay, who the hell are you, right? So I knew that was a big missing piece for me. And then obviously there were some others. And really after that, I just started putting it out there to the community. So the first part of my networking was, what do you do? How do you make money? What does this really entail, this strategy? And then the next part of my networking was, what do you do? Or, just networking with everybody and putting it out there. I'm looking for a business partner. That's what I want. And I want this business partner to have these skills because this is what I bring to the table. These are my values. And I'm a big believer, like I'm not good at everything. I don't want to be good at everything. I'm good at what I'm good at. And there's a partner that out there that could possibly complement me, just like a relationship, right? So I started putting it out there and not asking, but telling people, this is what I'm doing. I'm interested in development. These are the things that I bring to the table. And this is what I'm looking for in a partner. And I was introduced to Darren. Like at the time, he didn't even have a YouTube channel or, I didn't know who Darren was at the time. This was a year ago. And somebody in the network had introduced us via an email introduction. And we first had a phone call, then we had a Zoom call, and Darren was looking for the same thing. He was looking for a partner. He didn't want to find deals. That was like his major thing in the beginning. He's like, I don't want to find deals. I'm like, that's my favorite part. What are you talking about, right? So he's like, okay, well, if you find a deal, then let's look at it together. And then one deal turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 4, and we just incorporated our development business, and the rest is history.
Such an incredible story. And the thing I love the most about it is just how you went from literally not having any experience. You didn't grow up in a real estate family. You weren't handed down a business. You didn't have construction experience. but you had skill sets that you knew had value, and you weren't afraid to go out and get them. And I think that's one of the biggest things that so many people in these communities are scared of, is putting themselves out there and asking the questions, and trying to make themselves a little bit more vulnerable, know their skills, and putting themselves out there. And I just admire you so much for how courageous you were on reaching out, and how confident you were in yourself of wanting to know, like, hey, I'm going to put myself out there and something good's going to happen from doing it. And I love that. One of the things I wanted to ask you now is, now you guys are out there finding deals and you're raising capital and you're starting to run your own meetups and do your own stuff. How important is it when you're a investor looking to raise capital and things, on selling yourself versus selling the deal?
Yeah, I think for me, it's strictly about relationships. So my background's in sales. It's a relationship business. I think real estate is a relationship business, and being authentic and being who you are, and putting yourself out there in a vulnerable way, and showing people who you are, because people invest in you, not the deal, right? So there are returns. You can find returns everywhere. You can find, yeah, okay, here you're going to get a 15%, here you're going to get 13. I don't sell numbers. I sell the opportunity and really the relationship. I'm looking for long-term relationships. And to be honest, Randy, like, even just maybe 6 months ago, I'm like, how am I going to raise money? Like, who's going to give me money? I have next to no experience. Like, at that time, we had 2 deals under our belt. I've never raised money before. I'm like, who in their right mind would give me money? Like, especially a year ago, I didn't even know what OPM meant. I'm like, what is OPM? What does this stand for? I don't know what you people are talking about. I didn't even understand the strategies, but yeah, it's 100% for me. It's about not selling yourself, but being who you are, being true to yourself. The right people will be attracted. Like, I see faces here that I've spoken to over the past even couple of days, like Francis and Terry are like right below me on the screen. And their energy, right? Like, when I have conversations, this has to be a win-win situation for everybody involved. I'm a huge believer in energy. I think I make a lot of my decisions based on my gut feelings. And I love people. I love creating win-win situations. It's not, and I'm also not really super a numbers person. Darren's the numbers guy. That's one of the things that I was missing on my list besides construction. Like, I don't want to run numbers, and you have to understand your numbers to be able to talk to them, to your investors, but I don't want to make the pro forma. And people think you have to do all of those things when you're in real estate investing. But anyways, back to the point is 100%, it's a relationship business, and I don't really sell. You won't really see me posting a JV deal on our social media, because that's not how it works for a lot of people. That's amazing. That's just that it's not genuine for me personally. And in order to get people to invest in me, I have to be genuine with those people and be authentic.
Yeah, it's all about the relationship building and building that connection. And before we jump on to our next guest here and chat with him, one of the questions that came up is, now that you have a lot more skills in your arsenal to do this kind of stuff, would you go out on your own, or would you still want to do it with partners, even though you know what you're doing now?
I never want to work alone. Never. I mean, I think if anything, I want to bring more partners and do bigger deals and create more win-win situations. And I just have that abundance mindset where I meet people and I'm like, maybe there isn't an opportunity for us to do business today, but I love your energy, and like, let's keep in touch. I have conversations and people are, they're like, you give a lot of your time away, you get, and that's fulfilling to me. I get more energy from having these conversations with people than any other money. I'm not driven by money. I'm driven by connection. So that's the biggest difference for me, is I'd rather have a genuine connection with people. And I always say, I want everyone at my table to eat. And that means I want to expand the table. I want to continue adding chairs to the table. And really that's my goal. People ask me, how many doors do you want to have? Like, I don't care about doors. I care about partnerships and connections and people. So to answer your question, I would never want to work alone, ever, ever, ever. I want to do bigger deals, bigger developments, and it's funny because like you were mentioning, Randy, earlier in your presentation, some people think you can only have one JV partner and one money partner. I want to have 10 working partners and 50 investors. Like I want all of us to celebrate a beautiful development, and everyone's making money and everyone's successful, and we just keep those relationships, nurturing those relationships, and keep doing more projects together. So if anything, I want more partners, not less.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being so raw and honest. And I know anyone in here that's interested in connecting with you, probably the best way is just reaching out on Facebook or.
Sure. Yeah. Or my email. I can drop my email in the chat.
Yeah, put your email in the chat and connect on Facebook, and definitely go follow their meetup group, Level Up Meetup. They're such an inspiration and just such a big component of connecting and putting people together, and we absolutely love it. And so as you guys know, we can't clap here, but we do happy hands. So if we can just give some happy hands here for Ilona for sharing her story there and being vulnerable and being awesome. So thank you so much, Ilona. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome. Thank you. It's
been an absolutely great inspiration. They have some awesome development opportunities out in the Ontario area. If you are looking to invest in different types of projects, that would be definitely worth researching and looking up. Now, my next guest, Evan.
Can I just interject real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say one thing is completely irrelevant, but it is relevant to Ilona. Ilona, you are a beast. You are incredible. You're an inspiration for everything you've been able to accomplish over the last 75 days. I've been watching you just crush a mental and physical fortitude challenge. It's called 75 Hard. And today is her final day. She's a little shy. She's just a little bashful maybe, but everybody just give her one more happy hands because that challenge is ridiculously hard and she just accomplished it. I think first go, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So,
thank you.
Well freaking done. You're an inspiration on so many different levels, and just wanted to squeeze that in there while I had 10 seconds.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Totally. I completely blanked that it was the end of your journey today. That's awesome. Well done. Next up on our list, we have Evan Mcleish. Evan, can you unmute yourself, give a quick intro to who you are, the deals you're doing, and where you're doing them?
Hey guys, thanks for having me tonight. Steve, Randy, hi everyone in the REINVESTORS community. Congrats on hitting 100 people tonight, guys. It's awesome. So I guess my name is Evan Mcleish. I live in Prince George, British Columbia. If you're wondering where that is, it's about 8 hours north of Vancouver. So what I do up here is I purchase single family homes. I put basement suites in them. And essentially I do the burst strategy, which is kind of like flipping to yourself. And I do that with 50-50. I'll be the working partner. I'll find a money partner for the other 50%. And we'll move forward with the JV agreement and do that on the houses.
Man, I'm really excited to dive into this one because I met Evan about, I would say probably maybe a year and a half ago. And he approached us and said, look, guys, I'm doing this myself. I've got a good job, but I'm getting tapped out on mortgages. I've done my 4 or 5 properties. The bank's starting to question me on what I should do. What are my next moves? And so over the past year, we've been just kind of giving them some guidance and helping them along the way. Like, dude, you got to get into JV partnerships. You got to start doing it. And finally was able to take some of the right steps and start creating some partnerships. So just wanted to hear how that transition was, because I know there's a lot of people on this call that are probably working themselves. They're starting to get 2 or 3 properties, but don't know how to get that next property, where to get that money from, or what to do. So what was that transition like for you, and how challenging was it to go from being a solo guy doing it all yourself to having to bring in new people and new partners?
Yeah, so I mean, there's going to be a lot of plugs for the RE community here and on Facebook, because that helped me out, big time. So about a year and a half ago, I reached out to Randy. We had some calls. I joined the REINVESTOR community. I went to these monthly meetups that we're having now. And a lot of the times, I would just talk on the page when somebody was asking questions or wanting to know about possible having a money partner or working partner. I would reach out and discuss with them. The joint venture partner I actually have in Prince George right now came from the REINVESTORS community, came from me reaching out and, just on a post about somebody asking, hey, I got some cash, I'm looking to put it to work. The area I live in is a little bit out of my price range. What can I do? And essentially, a lot of it just came down to the relationships, the confidence in myself from doing the deals in the past, my ability to go out and, show people my past work, what I've done, how I like to, organize my projects and the numbers before and after, and basically showing people what I can do, how I can do it, and really utilizing Facebook and the REINVESTORS community for networking and building relationships to eventually, have the seed grow up into a plant and go off and do a house on a JV.
Dude, it's so cool to watch, and I know that's probably one of the biggest things we get asked all the time is like, how do I find these people and where do I go? And you're not a part of Keyspire. You're not a part of Rain. You're not, you haven't spent a huge amount of dollars to be a part of those types of communities. Obviously now you're working with our mastermind, which is again, taking you to that next level, but so many people are in your shoes. And so that's why I just wanted you to share a little bit about that. Cause that's, the fact that you had to reach out and had to make those connections probably wasn't comfortable, especially for someone like yourself, who's a little bit more of an introvert and doing it. So maybe in just a few minutes here, just what was that reach out like? Like, was it just hey, I'm Evan, this is it? Like, what does that message typically look like? It has to be, broken down, but just how, because I know as an introvert, that's not your favorite thing to do, to set up these phone calls and go on these meetings and set up Zoom calls. What was some of that stuff like for you?
Yeah, so I'll start it off with saying my story and myself and what I'm capable is no different from anybody on this call. A couple years ago, I didn't have joint ventures going on. I was just kind of going into my own properties and fixing them up and kind of living my own journey without other people. So, kind of take that to heart today that, sometimes it's just a lack of confidence. I know I had a lack of confidence for what I could offer to other people and, the value that I can bring. And really, it was reaching out and chatting with others and Randy to really learn, the value that I can bring and how I can display that to other people and, kind of get them involved with what I'm doing. So essentially, kind of the way I approached it at the very beginning and how I got my joint venture partner that I have right now is a lot of the times when somebody would post on the REINVESTORS community about, having some cash they wanted to put to work, having, going through a refinance and it going well for them, or, just wanting to expand out of their network. That's kind of when I would show up and I just start a conversation with them and say, hey, I'm Evan Mcleish. I'm doing BRRRR strategy up in Prince George, single family homes. This is what I can offer. Being prepared makes a big difference. Having all of the answers to the questions that, put yourself in their shoes. What are they going to ask? How are they going to feel comfortable with going forward with you and putting their cash into your hands to go and do the deal? So I would approach them with, I would go out and I'd have a JV agreement written up. I'd have my numbers kind of written out. I'd have my photos of my past deals. And, and a lot of times you can just think like, hey, what is this individual going to ask me when I offer them a joint venture partnership, right? Some common questions is, well, what is the cash on cash? What kind of return on investment am I going to get? What's the timeline of this deal? So you should have all that laid out. You should have enough information that you're going to display confidence to this person. So really, a lot of the conversations go just like that. You reach out, you talk with somebody, you're going to kind of tell them your spiel, tell them what you do, tell them the numbers that you're doing. Tell them how great an opportunity is, the place that you're living in, learn it upside, down and backwards. Talk with appraisers about, different values of the properties and how to get better values out of it, so you can explain that to your investors. So really just being educated and knowledgeable can give you confidence in those certain conversations. So a lot of times, especially with the partner that I have in town here, it was just, don't go into the conversations expecting anything. Go into the conversations thinking that you want to educate somebody, and think about it like, hey, I'm giving them an opportunity to come work with me, and I can give them, my great deals in my neighborhood, and I can give them that opportunity to, maybe get better profits than what they're getting, or expand more. And, a lot of times it's just back and forth conversation with the person. And then eventually it's going to be like, hey, I got this. I'm just finishing up the deal. I'm going to go work on another one. This is how my last deal went. Would that interest you or something like that? A lot of it, like, if you come into it and you're looking to be pushy and ask for the cash and all that stuff, like, that just doesn't work. Nobody's got that perfect salesman pitch, to just nail the deal. A lot of it is comfortability. A lot of it is, making people feel safe that they're going to give you, $150,000, $300,000 plus dollars, right? Like, you might be the Cadillac working partner and feel like you got everything kind of figured out, but that's still a lot of money that somebody's giving to you. And at the end of the day, your integrity and your word and your authenticity to close the deals and do what you say you're going to do, and be able to display that to your partners properly is a big part of it.
That's phenomenal, man. I love everything you just shared, and there's so much to break down. And I could probably do an entire meetup just with the two of you asking questions, and just really appreciate you opening up about always leading with value and having your numbers, and not just trying to go out there and say, hey, invest with me, and then you don't have anything for them to actually fall back on, and really leading with value. And the one thing the last question I just wanted to ask you quickly was, a lot of people are saying, well, why would I partner? If I can do 100% of it my own, why would I ever want to bring in somebody else and give away a portion of my chunk? You can do all the renovations, you can do it yourself. And so the question and the way I want to ask it is, what are your thoughts on the statement that I'd rather have a percentage of something than 100% of nothing?
Okay. So, I mean, this is great, because it really does come down to, you can actually get more in the long run with partnering up with people that have that experience. If you partner with people, learn from their mistakes, right? Work with somebody that has that experience, that has shown a proven track record, that can go out and do what they say they're going to do. So think about it this way, is if you look at it from, like, if you go out and buy a turnkey for $100,000 and it cash flows this, $1,000 per month. Well, I can go out and I can go do a burr with you, and you can maybe leave 25,000 in the deal. I'm just using these simple numbers to make it work. So if you get your money back, leave 25,000 in the deal, you can give it back to me, and I can go do that again and recircuit. So eventually you can go buy that turnkey and, cash flow $1,000 a month, or you can come and do 4 burrs with me and have 4 houses that eventually appreciate, more, having more properties and all that, and all stuff like that. And a lot of the times too, in the long run, you'll get more houses, more assets. So that helps with the cash flow part in the long run. And another part, a big part of it is just the renovations. It's nice to think about people going out and, you're going to find this property and you're going to fix it up. But I mean, you can see even Randy and Steve, as experienced as they are on their last triplex, things come up. You can go look at a property but really you can't see what's behind the walls. You can't see what's underneath the concrete that you have to jackhammer in the basement. You can't see where the water's come into the house in recent years. So a lot of those things, you're just weighing on the experience. And, it's like, do you want to pay for experience in the front end by partnering with somebody, or do you want to pay it in the back end? when you pay those big bills or you pay that contractor that ran away with your money. So, that's kind of my spiel too, to investors that want to be working partners in the beginning. You come work with me. I'll tell you everything I know. I'll tell you how I do it, people I use, materials I use, so you can leave with a lot of that value. And hopefully you can go do it without me after that.
Awesome, dude. That was absolute gold. And Bev just said something that says knowledge plus quality work plus integrity equals an invaluable characteristics to offer potential to people. And that is exactly what you do, dude. That is exactly who you are. And it's been awesome to watch you grow into this role and see your confidence and see you just speak so differently over the year and the confidence you poise. And it's just absolutely incredible, man. So thank you for, again, showing up, helping out our community, providing a lot of value. And if people want to reach out to you, can you just drop your email address or your Facebook or something like that so that people can be in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing or how you're doing it or wanting to connect?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much, buddy. And if I can get you all to give Evan a little bit of happy hands here instead of clapping for him off the stage. There we go, buddy. That's awesome. I'm going to put something in the chat here that I'm hoping will inspire some of you. I just quickly threw it together. Those are the messages that we should be seeing inside this chat. And moving forward, that's something, Stephen, I really want to push is how can we start getting more people connected? How can we bring people together? Easy when we are in the same room, because we could just put you all at a table and make you do roundtable discussions. Here we can't. So in your names, in the chat, don't be afraid to ask what you want. Don't be afraid to talk about where you are and what you're doing and what you can inspire to do. And before we end up calling it a night here, I just want to bring up my last speaker, Stephen Arneson, as somebody that I know a lot of you have seen him speak, and a lot of you know exactly what we do and how we do it. But Steve is one of the best at networking I've ever had the experience of being a part of. He's traveled around the world. He's networked with a lot of different people. He takes care of 90% of all of our investor relations because he's very charismatic and holds his conversations and listens and does all these great things. And Steve doesn't know that I'm doing this, but Steve, you wrote a blog a little while ago that was the best tips for networking. And it was just a lot of tips that you had for how to get out there and how to poise yourself and all things networking tonight. What are some of those tips that people can do when they want to start getting out there and networking with other people?
Oh man, that blog post was specifically built for, actually, let me rewind for a second. Evan, the growth that you've gone through in the last year and a half or whatever, props, bro, because I remember talking to you one day and you were kind of like a shaken leaf in the wind. It's like, oh, I have no idea. But like, there's definitely like confidence within that. And like the amount that you've grown in the last like 12 or 18 months, man, just inspiring. So congrats on all the successes that you've created for yourself and for others. And PG, like who would have guessed? That blog post was specifically built for live in person, and obviously that is far more limited today, being that we're in Zoom. A couple of pieces that I can just throw out there. One is try to just put your best foot forward always. So if you're on Zoom, wear something sharp. Nobody wants to see a wife beater and backwards hat. That's not when you're dealing with somebody who's investing hundreds of thousands of dollars. You want to treat that situation with the utmost respect. In terms of networking, Evan, you mentioned it. Be the expert in what you're doing, and I think Ilona, maybe you said it as well. But on the deal that you should have 98% of the answers ready. So maybe it's your first pitch, maybe it's your second or third or fourth. Something that I highly encourage you to do is just to practice with another investor. So sit there through Zoom, over a coffee, walk into the park or whatever, and have that conversation so that you're not completely caught off guard with a sophisticated question. And so you should be the expert in that space so that you can deliver the full aspect of things. On the actual networking side of things, Facebook has been a phenomenal tool over the last 12, 13, 14 months, and even past that. One thing that I always like to do is take the extra 60, 120 seconds. And if you are going to send somebody a private message, do a little bit of research on them first. Find some sort of common ground. A lot of people, like one of my mentors told me, people do business with people they like. And how do you find people that you like? Typically, it's off of common ground, whether it be real estate investing. That's an obvious one for everybody, the 100 people that are on this call. But it's really simple just to hop onto Facebook, hit their profile, go see that they've got kids. Maybe we can relate because your kids also play soccer. Maybe they just booked a trip to Bali. Maybe they, bought a new RV, whatever that may be. There's opportunity for you to personalize the message. Because if you get a message saying, hey, I'm Steve, I kick ass at investing and I want to make you filthy rich. Well, I look at that and being like, okay, you probably sent that to a million other people. Why am I going to give you my attention? If you take the extra minute to find out like, hey, Jay just moved to Victoria. Awesome. Welcome to Victoria, Jay. Like, this is my home. If you have any questions whatsoever, by all means, reach out to me, starting with value. By all means, reach out to me and I can hook you up with any professional that you need in the real estate space. But in the meantime, why don't we hop on a call? We can connect about, the location that you lived in. I do a couple of, really cool deals. I've got a couple things in the pipeline. Would love to support you however I can. That personalization can be the difference of starting the conversation. And that's really what it is. All you're trying to do is get them on Zoom or on phone so you can have a conversation, relate human to human, and give the details on your deal.
That's so good. And the last one I wanted to ask you here before we close things out, what about cold reach out? So obviously you shared a little bit of there. You're on the call here. There's 20 different people. You see someone that says, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm looking here. I got David Salz from Vancouver. And I'm like, oh, I want to reach out to him. What does that first message look like? Is it just, hey, I want to connect with you. Let's go chat. Is it actually providing value? Is it really just trying to how does that work in a sense where you don't have a deal? You're just trying to make some friends and build your network, as opposed to where we've talked about most of this call is like you have a deal, you're trying to pitch something, you're trying to go that. What about just expanding your network to someone in your local area?
The message looks like this. Hey, David, I saw that you're a real estate investor here on Vancouver Island. You are a part of the REINVESTORS meetup or community. I have a couple of deals under my belt. They might look like, insert a small section of single family, whatever you've done. So for me, I've done 19 deals, 20 maybe even now. I would love to connect with you just to share experiences. If you've got some time in the next week, I would love to have a quick chat. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. Let me know a time that's really great for you. And it's just commonality, a little bit of experience so that you know that the person you're getting, so that the person you're sending the message to knows where you're at, whether you're beginning, expert, or somewhere in the middle, and can start to frame that conversation best for you. And again, you want to put that best foot forward. And whether we haven't done anything, like we've done a lot of deals, that's why I include that number. If you haven't done any deals, leverage some of your knowledge. Be like, I really know multifamily quite well. I would love to know what you're up to. Or I'm a contractor and I can build badass stuff. I would love to know what you're up to. And just lean on a little bit of your expertise, whatever that niche is that you are like, find someone that you can literally be here where Randy and I are at and speak to a crowd of 100 people and teach them some value. Start with that. So whether it's mathematics or it's contracting, or maybe you're just super skilled at, I don't know, guess the numbers behind my head. Whatever that skill is, lead with that because it'll be something that just relates to the other person.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for jumping in on the spot and sharing that. That gives Steve some happy hands here and some love for that huge value add at the end there. Something Steve and I, when we started out, we would probably do, I would say 10 to 15 coffee or phone call meetings a week each. When we started out for probably the first 2 years, we're at a stage now where we're so busy, we can't quite fit them in. We try and get as many as we can in. But when we started out, we put in the work. It wasn't like one reach out a month. Like we're talking 10 to 15 a week. So, and that's just reaching out to communities like this. There's like probably 20 different Facebook communities with real estate investors, and just getting out there and putting our names out there, talking, connecting, knowing that maybe 1 in 30 conversations will be somebody that could possibly work with us. We know we have to have a lot of conversations. So don't be
You're
afraid.
right. It completely is a numbers game. So go and like, not necessarily spam, go hit everybody in a particular community, and you can do a copy and paste section. Just that first opening line needs to be personalized. So Randy put a message up there a little bit further in the chat, and it was like, hey, I'm Randy, I can do this and that. Add 1 line of personalization to it, spend the extra minute, copy and paste the rest, but spend 1 minute finding some sort of personalization to it, and that'll be a game changer for you.
Speaking of getting connections, we are at 984 members on our Facebook community. If you're not a part of the community, go check it out. It's a fantastic place to be. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of great people, as you've heard from everybody that was on here tonight. That wasn't meant to be a plug for a community. It's just where a lot of people are finding good connections and good friends. And there's a level up meetup like Ilona and Darren run is absolutely amazing. There's a bunch of them out there. Our goal is to get to 1,000 members before the end of March. So if you have some friends that are interested, or maybe they want to start getting connected, or they want to start feeling more comfortable learning about real estate, or some friends that are very experienced that are looking to share some deals or get things going, we would love to keep growing our community, and 1,000 members is a goal for us by the end of this month. So if you do, hop in there. There's some great people in there, awesome connections, and a lot of great topics, as well as where our sponsors like Cal Kerr give updates all the time. After this call, you should get a review. If you want to just leave some comments, let us know what's exciting for you, what's good for you, what you liked, what you didn't like. Be honest with us. We want to grow. Steve and I have been transparent from day one. This community is about all of us, not just Steve and I standing at the front of the room. How can we provide value for you guys? That's all we want to do. That's all this meetup is about. It goes to our mission of wanting to financially educate 1 million people and inspire them to invest in real estate so they can live a more fulfilled life. This is what it's about. Give us some review, share it out there, help us grow. Reminder, our next meetup is April 20th. You'll probably get a few emails regarding that, hoping you can register and make it to the next one. And last but not least, thank you so much for being out. If you want to connect with us, find us, reach out to us, put some effort in, and see if we can connect. If you're interested in connecting with us, there's all of our information. Pretty easy to find us. If you just search the Reinvestors anywhere, you will see us. With that, right on time at 7:30, like always. Thank you everyone so much for coming out tonight, being a part of this. Take a few minutes, I'll leave it open, scroll through the chat, find somebody that you want to connect with tonight, reach out, make some things happen. Kevin was giving me a thumbs up there. I hope that was for me. So 2 for me. Thanks, buddy. 1 for each, 1 for me, 1 for Steve. But we'll leave the chat open for a minute. Scroll through there, find someone to connect with, even if they're not somebody you know, even if you see somebody in the same area, reach out to them, connect, have some fun with it, and continue to grow. So thank you all so much for joining tonight. We appreciate you all, and have an awesome evening. See everybody later.